Simon Adams is Executive Director of the Global Centre for the Responsibility to Protect and joins me now from New York. Good to see you, Simon. I mean, let's start with this. The Secretary-General Special Envoy on Myanmar said that journalists are being targeted, snipers are freely killing civilians, and pleaded with the UN Security Council to condemn what's going on. Now, you've got China and Russia likely to make that not happen, but even if it were to happen, would it have an impact on the generals?
Well, I think there are many things that would have an impact. I mean, first of all, thank you for having me on, Michael. But yeah, I think she's trying to increase the pressure on the UN Security Council. I mean, I think it's extraordinary that more than a month has gone past. People are being gunned down in the streets of Myanmar, and yet the UN Security Council still hasn't said anything. They've now deferred the situation till Monday. But I think, we saw today in Myanmar, people in the country holding candlelit vigils, calling on the international community to uphold their responsibility to protect the people of Myanmar. And I think they are right to expect that it should do that. And I think the UN Security Council and countries around the world should definitely be doing more.
I wanted to ask you about what you see as the role of the military chief, General Min Aung Hlaing, and why he seized power, because this is very much about him and his ambitions, his position, and according to a lot of observers, his personal financial interests.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things that people forget is that the military in Myanmar is not just an instrument of terror and of committing atrocities. It's also a massive economic enterprise and tied up very much in business, all kinds of business dealings. And so this is very much about him. We should keep in mind about him as well. This is the man who was responsible for overseeing the 2017 genocide against the Rohingya minority in the north of the country in Rakhine State, and now he has seized power in this coup. So this is about his personal ambitions to lead the country. This is about him securing his nest of money, and this is about him making sure that he keeps an iron grip on the country.
To that point, do you have any sense of what the military's aim here is? I mean, what it's doing is pretty much ensuring that people will reject them and their political role completely and forever. I mean, you can only suppress and repress for so long. What would be the military's end game?
Well, I mean, I think you're right. This is a military whose history is soaked in blood. But I think that in this case, they greatly overestimated their own popularity with their own people and thought that people would just passively accept this. But, the world has moved on. Myanmar has moved on since 2011, or to go back further, since 1988, the last time that the military suppressed mass democracy protests. And so clearly people aren't going to accept this, and which again puts so much pressure on the international community to not just look the other way, to not just pretend this isn't happening or to issue statements of concern, but to actually do things like impose an arms embargo, targeted sanctions, refer the situation to the International Criminal Court.
Yeah, there is a lot that could be done that is not being done. I hope you're right about that. I just also wanted to ask you, as the crackdown has worsened, it seems the crowds on the streets just seem to grow. Has, in some sense, the fear barrier been broken? The people, they see this as their only shot. Speak to where the momentum is right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary to see the bravery of these, particularly young people, but people from all cross sections of society in Myanmar, dock workers on strike, teachers marching in the streets, young people out there protesting, and doing so often in very imaginative and innovative ways as well. So, I think they deserve our support and admiration for that. But certainly the momentum is very much on the streets, and it doesn't seem to make a difference at the moment how vicious the military is and how much bloodshed that they inflict on these people. They keep coming out.
You did mention some of the things that could be done in terms of sanctions and sort of a military weapons ban and so on. But do you think those things will work, especially if China continues to support the junta? These are generals who've lived with sanctions and other punitive measures before for a long time.
Yeah, I think anybody who thinks they don't care about the sanctions, we should ask ourselves, why is it then that they rush to try and, withdraw $1 billion from a New York bank account the day after the coup? They're trying to get money around them. They're trying to protect themselves. And yeah, the Chinese have been traditionally their shield and their protector at the UN Security Council. But there are many, many things that other states can do. You know, some of those things I mentioned around an arms embargo and targeted sanctions. But ultimately, it should be the UN Security Council that refers the situation, as I said, to the International Criminal Court, because somebody like General Min Aung Hlaing belongs in handcuffs at The Hague, not trying to run a country.
The UN Security Council so often proven to be a toothless tiger when it comes to the self-interest of the permanent members. Simon Adams, I wish we had more time, but we've got to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Michael.